Today what I'm going to talk about is the escrow process. You know, a lot of people have no idea what escrow is, so I'm going to go into it right now. They just heard the term out there. Okay, here's what escrows are. They act as an intermediary between a buyer and a seller. I happen to live in a state, California, that uses escrows. I like escrows. I don't like a lot of states back east where they use attorneys. I don't even want to get into that at the moment. Number two is they collect and they remit the funds as instructed. They have a set of escrow instructions there and they're told what to do, and that is their job to follow them. Number three is they ensure that the buyers and sellers are protected during the real estate transaction. They won't pay the sellers early. They'll make sure that the buyer has all the paperwork in that they're supposed to do before they close. That's their job. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what the whole process is here. The process of escrow and the step by step. Here's what we're going to be doing. Number one is they prepare, they review, and they revise the escrow instructions. Okay, they will take that information off of the purchase agreement that you take to them. They will also determine the legal ownership and status of the property through a title search. They'll use a title company for that. Some title companies have their own escrow companies, some do not. Then they will request a beneficiary statement if the debt is to be assumed or paid off by the buyer. So you have to know how much it is. That's called a Benny statement. That's the way they call it. And that's what they order. Next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to confirm that the buyer's qualified. Can he get the loan? Does he have the funds to close? Etc. And meets the lender requirements. And we're going to confirm that the property requirements imposed by the lender are also up to snuff. What I mean by that is sometimes the lenders, they'll send an appraiser out. Not sometimes. All the times they send an appraiser out. And the appraiser will go out there and write things that need to be fixed, especially if it's an FHA government loan. And you'll have to repair those things before the lender will fund. Okay. Next is we are going to prorate all the financial matters in the ownership transaction. And what I mean by proration, for an example, is taxes. Taxes are due November 1st and February 1st. Well, what if you close in between that time? Then you're going to owe some of the taxes, and the seller's going to owe some of the taxes. The buyer's going to owe some of the taxes. That's why everything is prorated. Now, we're going to go down here to ensure that all the legal documentation is complete, including the recorded deed. And the recorded deed is probably the most important aspect right there. That gives you the title to the property, the ownership. Next, we're going to comply with the time limits imposed by instructions. All kinds of instructions now have 17 days to do this, 3 days to do that, 5 days to do this. Well, all those have to be met in a timely manner. And that is up to the escrow company to make sure everybody's doing everything in a timely manner. Next thing we're going to do is, when all of that is done, we're going to close the escrow once everything's been fulfilled. Okay? Then after we close, we're going to need to disperse all the funds, including all fees. Most of the funds will go to the seller, but you'll have a commission that goes to the agents. You might have a commission that goes to a mortgage broker. The title fees, all that gets dispersed by the escrow company. And then the last thing they do is they have a final statement that they send out. We call them HUD-1s. And so they're to make sure that all concerned parties will know where every penny went. That is called a closing statement or a HUD-1. Bottom line, this is the escrow process that you have to go through. It takes like 30 days, almost the same as the lending process. And the lending process will be going on while the escrow process is going on. So, if you need any more information on my educational videos, you can go up to youtube.com, #FloydLoans, and don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It's a nice big red one. You can't miss it. You can also share it. You can also like it, make comments, whatever you want to do. We got Facebook, Floyd Loans, Twitter, Floyd Loans, and if you need to get a hold of me by email, I'm at floyd@woodrumfinancial.com.